Well, hello, and welcome to another quick and dirty review. Today, I'm going to be taking a look at the Marshall MG100 HDFX. This is a very entry-level solid-state amp. It's not even really sure who they built it for. Just, hey, here's a cheap amp, and they threw some effects in it. It's got a few different features from that era that are maybe useful, but it's basically just, hey, here's a cheap solid state amp. But did you think it could sound like this? Not too shabby considering it was a very cheap amp, like super cheap. Okay, so I'm just gonna switch to another camera angle and show you what I've got dialed in, and then the types of things you can do with this amp. What I am currently set to is I'm in OD2. Here's OD1. Sounds pretty good. Now, if we take a look at the settings, what I have, hopefully the mic sounds okay. Yeah, it should be okay. Okay, so what I have as far as settings here, we've got, it's just got your typical bass, middle, treble, blah, 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 boring. Marshalls generally don't have a lot of bass, so I've actually got this cranked. Side note, Jackson Stealthy X from 1994. It's got an EMG60A in the bridge, and that's all I'm using in this video. So, and we're tuned to C standard. Okay, so having said that, I will show a little clip of the screen. With that, what it's going to show you is how I'm processing it on the other end. I'm simply processing the microphone in one channel, and I'm processing the guitar on the other channel. I have an AXIO interface from IK Multimedia, and I'm using the Miko 2 plugin from ML Sound Labs. It's the free version. You could just download it, get that tone immediately. I've actually got it dialed in, and you should be able to see roughly what the settings are from that little clip. So I'll include that somewhere along the way here. Okay, now having said that, we've got bass at 10, we've got middle at about, I guess that's pushing like 8. Treble I've got at about 5. Contours down at about 4 or so. I don't know, call it 10 o'clock. Volume I've got for the overdrive channel, I've got it up to about, call it 2 o'clock. And then this is where you've got effects built in. So they're pretty basic. You've got chorus, delay, chorus, and flanger. And then you can just do effects level. So if I wanted a little bit of delay, I could do something like a little bit of delay in there, nothing crazy. You got reverb. And then you actually have an effects loop level, which is kind of nice, actually. And then you just got your master volume. I've got it turned down quite a bit. I'm just running it directly through the interface. And then, like I said, well, I should point out that I do also have a Torpedo Captor 8, taking the speaker out from here into there and going into my interface. You could do that with a DI box or different things. Then this has an emulated headphone out. It's got a CD input, and then you've got this FDD, which is like, it's supposed to like expand, make it sound less digital. I always keep it engaged. It just sounds better with it. So as you can see as well, I'm also running a pedal up here. This is the Joyo Vintage Tube Overdrive, and I've got it set up as a bit of a distortion, not necessarily a boost. I do have the volume cranked on it. I've got the tone at about 2 o'clock, and the drives at about 9:30 or so. And then over here, I just have the Behringer noise reducer NR300, just to make sure I'm not going too crazy on the noise. Okay, so that's OD1. Here's OD2 with significantly more gain. And if we turn the boost off, we get a much different tone. Okay, the gain is set quite high. I find if you turn it down, you don't really get, I don't know. There's not a huge difference. Like here's max gain. Now I'll turn it down. You don't really get a lot of extra noise introduced, I find. I don't find it compresses it too much when you crank up the gain, so I normally run it somewhere in this sort of ballpark. Do a quick run through and show you what the pots sound like. All the bass, none of the bass. Very scoop. Somebody's face off. There's a good way to do it. A little better. Okay, we'll just turn that off. Okay, back to just the end. On its own, pretty weak sauce, but you give it a boost and makes a big difference. Pretty weak on OD1. I don't know why you'd really use it there. Like, I guess you can get some... I wouldn't have a lot of use for that. I'd much rather be on OD2. I don't know. You could do all kinds of different stuff with the controls. I don't find they do a whole heck of a lot. They're not all that sensitive. It's just a matter of making sure you don't have too much of any one thing, and that's kind of where I'm at. Oh yeah, I should actually play around with the contour. That'll make it sound more tube-like, I feel, if you can call it that. Volume level, but I don't find that it really changes the tone that much. It's more the gain. Although you do need some volume. You really, like, if you got it on a low setting, then you start turning up the master volume, it will sound quite a bit different than if you crank the volume on the channel. I always find on the Marshalls, you pretty much have to crank the channel volume. If you don't, you end up with kind of a crappy sound. Here is ye old foot switch. And yeah, when you get the foot switch plugged in, you can't change channels. So you have to do it with the foot switch. So now we're in ye old clean tone. And there's our crunch channel. Oh, baby. It actually didn't sound that much different. Turn the volume level. That's the crunch. There's OD1. But of course. Did you think the Marshall MG100 HDFX could sound like that? I was actually pretty impressed. I gotta say, this pedal is a nice addition, mainly just because it's a tube style emulation. You take a solid state head, you add a tube boost, and it works really well to give you a nice complex type sound without sounding cheesy, whereas solid state can be a little bit digitized, a little bit, you know, maybe not exactly the tone you're going for. But in this case, with the right boost, it actually works pretty freaking good. So yeah, should you buy an MG100? If you're looking for a cheap little amp, sounds pretty freaking good to me. Powers my cabinet pretty good too. So, and it's funny because this is where the band actually started, was on one of these, which is kind of funny. And I mean, is it amazing? No. But if you're looking for a decent metal tone, it's actually pretty freaking sweet. So on that note, I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.